Hello, my name is Richard Mills, and I'm with the External Affairs Department here at the World Bank. These spring meetings, we've opened up the meetings to the world and to social media, and we've been taking your questions. Joining me today is Helen Clark, Administrator of the UN Development Program and the former Prime Minister of New Zealand. Thank you for joining us. We'll take some of these questions. The first one is from Nigeria. What is the fastest way to eradicate poverty in developing nations?
The fastest way is to grow your economy.
Sure.
But not only grow it in a way where the benefits will spread out to a lot of people. A lot of countries have neglected, for example, investment in their agriculture. And yet in developing countries, the greatest number of people are still living in the rural sectors. So investing in agriculture will get very good returns for reducing poverty, and it also helps increase your food security and the nutritional levels of your people as well.
Very good. Our second question is from the United States, and it's from a student who's just beginning their economics degree. They're curious, what exactly is sustainable development? And what books or literature would you recommend for that person to study up on, to learn more about sustainable development?
I see sustainable development as about enabling human progress while not wrecking the ecosystem of the only planet we have to live on. So we have to do a careful balancing act. Yes, we want better living standards for the world's people, but we know we have to sustain the environment long term to make that possible, and because we want to keep something to pass to our successors. So Rio Plus 20 is going to have these issues very much at its heart, and for a student wanting to explore the issue, can I recommend the high-level panel report on global sustainability to the Secretary General of the UN, released just a couple of months ago, and UNDP's 2011 Human Development Report on equity and sustainability.
And much of these would be available online, so really easy for them to get.
Totally available, can be downloaded as a PDF, very easy.
Great. Our next question is from the United Kingdom, and it's about children. How can we ensure that children are at the heart of Rio Plus 20, something you were just talking about? And it's more of a question of how can we discuss or think about the shape of our planet in years to come without factoring in children?
Well, children are our future. If we don't invest in them, we're not investing in the future of our species and our world. One could also have said in reply to the first question, what do you do to eradicate poverty? Invest in your people, invest in your children, make education available to every child on earth, and not only primary, enable them to go right through and fulfill their potential. I think with Rio, we need to find ways of the voices of children and young people being heard, because they have a big stake in this future. It's their future.
Yes. Our next question is from Spain. Can some successful lessons of poverty eradication and employment generation in developing countries be applied to Western economies who are currently facing economic crises? So a bit of south to north learning and knowledge transfer.
Well, that's a great question, because the West is facing pretty high rates of unemployment. Europe's rates are high, and the United States has got rates that it hasn't seen in a very, very long time. I think of India's National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, which says every rural poor eligible household's entitled to 100 minimum days work a year at a minimum wage. Now, when did we last have comprehensive job creation public works schemes in Western countries? Quite a while back. So maybe we need to go back to some basics and say what got us through the Great Depression, fine-tuned for the early 21st century, might be worth looking at.
Another question from the United States. Development of knowledge economies in Africa and other developing countries will greatly reduce poverty. Which social investors do you think would be most interested in supporting a knowledge economy with leading universities and companies to help speed things up?
Well, education is the key to the knowledge economy. Educated people at every level, people who see the ability of knowledge to be applied to a product or service to increase productivity, increase value. That's as important for the smallholder farmer as it is for the up-and-coming small enterprise. So in terms of social investors, the people who are into credit, opportunities, whether it's microcredit or more conventional banking credit, I think they need to be aware of the power of knowledge to really drive forward the economies of the future.
And one question I had was, what's on your agenda for these spring meetings? What have you been hearing and speaking about, and what is on the agenda for UNDP, maybe heading into Rio?
Well, I'm excited by the Development Committee main point of discussion today, and that's around social protection. because without effective social protection, when a shock hits a country, people get knocked flat. That we found that in the Great Depression in the United States, in Europe, New Zealand, Australia. And the social protection schemes we have largely date back to that response to the Great Depression. So the opportunity to talk a little bit today about the importance of that for developing countries as well is one that I really welcome.
Well, thank you so much for talking with us. That does it for us here. Thank you for joining us at World Bank Live.